I'm like celery on the wind. We don't wanna be enemies. I go men with me, I go wings. You gon' step in my ship. You gon' mess with the king.
Welcome to more Fanime. What's up, everybody? Today, let's go ahead and review chapter 1069 of the One Piece manga. Yeah, 69, people. We have arrived at Rob Lucci versus Luffy. Yes, finally, it's happening here in this chapter. And guess what, people? I told you so. I told you so. But before I get into spoiler territory, I gotta say, please like, share, and comment on this video to help me out with those YouTube algorithms. And what I meant by I told you so is Rob Lucci has awakened his devil fruit. He has an awakened zone transformation, which is slightly similar to Luffy's awakened form, the clouds around his body, except they're black. I'm very excited now that Rob Lucci has shown us that he can at least hold his own with Gear 5 Luffy. He didn't go down in one shot like everybody kept saying and warning me that Rob Lucci wasn't gonna stand a chance against Luffy in Gear 5, let alone Gear 4. No, Luffy had to go straight to Gear 5. Let's just get back to the cover story for this little chapter, though. It looks like we're hopping into a flashback for Mads right now, with Caesar and Judge kind of remembering what Mads was like. So we're probably getting somewhat of a Vegapunk backstory. Same with Judge, Queen. I'm assuming Queen will also be in this backstory. It starts with this image of the Mads. It looks like a ship or a laboratory, and this guy from Whole Cake Island's on the cover, and he must have been funding Mads, since Mads was like a secret organization before, Vegapunk left and joined the world government. So we're going to find out some more info we did not already know. I hope it's not stuff we can kind of assume. I hope it's really important stuff. If you guys have any information about this cover story, this cover right here, please give me some, because I don't remember this guy so much from the Whole Cake Island event. I can't even tell you his name. I think it's on the cover story. Whatever. This Germa 66 excursion has been going on for far too long. I think it's time we dive into some other characters. What are they doing? I want to see what the Cross Guild is up to. Where the frick is Doflamingo, Oda? I mean, you left us on a cliffhanger with Law and Blackbeard. Come on, bro. But I appreciate the fact that you made my boy Rob Lucci stand out this week. Rob Lucci runs into Luffy, and Luffy's like, hey, you just basically tried to kill Atlas, who fed me. You don't mess with people who give me food, especially free food. You understand me? I mean, Luffy barely knows Atlas. We barely know Atlas. I really could care less if Atlas was killed by Rob Lucci. Honestly, I think it would have been more impactful if Atlas was killed by Rob Lucci. It's time to start taking out some characters. These characters, they come in, they come out. We get to see them in little side spots in the future movies and whatnot. But I don't expect Atlas to be a major player going forward. Maybe give us a little sympathy there. That would have made more sense, but I think Luffy would have taken the fight just a tad more seriously. But he does go straight to Gear 5. And Lucci is told by Kaku, whoa there, buddy old pal. Lucci, we cannot challenge Luffy. We had no idea he was here on this island. We cannot fight a Emperor of the Sea. If we do this, it could cause a national, global incident, which could, cause another fucking Marineford type of situation. We need to get permission from the tippity top. We need to call Marine HQ. I wasn't sure I didn't think that Cypher Pole had to answer to the Marines in any way, shape, or form, but maybe because Luffy does have this Emperor title now, they really do have this one rule. We're like, ooh, we don't want to start something big. But Rob Lucci's never been a guy who likes to follow the plans, especially when he's dealing with Luffy after Luffy embarrassed him for the first time in his life back at Enies Lobby. You know, there was a part of me that thought maybe Rob Lucci would join the side of the Straw Hats after he realized Luffy was there. Maybe he was just waiting to meet Luffy. I was completely wrong about that. It does seem like Rob Lucci is 100% going for the cause. I am done trying to say that he might be a secret protag or an ally at the very least of the Straw Hat fleet. It does seem like our boy Rob Lucci is 100% fighting for the Marine side, the Gorosei side in this war. But man, was it cool to see him in his new transformation. It's a little sleeker, probably a little faster, a little bit more ruthless. Vegapunk and the rest of the crew, besides Zoro and Brook, who are still on the ship. I'm hoping Zoro shows up quickly. You would think he would hear some explosions or feel some major hockey transformations going on and go, oh, I should go help my boy. And maybe Brook can hang back. Someone has to stay on the ship. That makes sense. But I want to see Zoro make a presence here. I want to see the whole crew make a presence here. Honestly, it's nice seeing Luffy kick ace and go toe-to-toe with Rob Lucci. But come on, Kaku's there. Stussy's there. Give them something to do as well. Yes, I know they're fighting the Seraphim, which is another big thing that came in this chapter. We find out that Sentomaru was like adopted in some way, shape, or form, or saved by Vegapunk when he was just a wee lad. And now he kind of owes Vegapunk his life. He treats him kind of like a grandfather or an adopted father. And Vegapunk asks Sentomaru, who has who is the leader of the pacifistas as shown throughout the series. Sentomaru, I feel, has not been well developed, in my opinion. I really could care less about his character. He's only shown up a handful of times at Sabaody Archipelago, going toe-to-toe with Luffy, knowing nothing about this guy. He shows up out of nowhere, kind of gets overshadowed by Kizaru's presence. Then he's at Marineford with an army of pacifistas, but also gets overshadowed by the greatness of Marineford in general. Then he shows up at the return to Sabaody Archipelago, that little mini arc, and his pacifistas get absolutely one shot, and we get no info about him. But now we know, I don't think he knew that Vegapunk was secretly working with the revolutionaries. I just think he always wanted to do whatever Vegapunk asked him to. Vegapunk's like, hey, you want to lead these fucking robots for the government? He's like, sure. He's like, do you want to become an official Marine? He's like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And that's what Sentomaru's been doing. He's an assistant. It is kind of interesting. I'm wondering, now that we found out in this chapter 1069, Kizaru is on his way to Egghead Island. I am so excited. Kizaru is my favorite Marine right now in the story. He's got the most mystery behind him. Kizaru has shown up in multiple One Piece movies and been a thorn in the side of our pro-tags. Kizaru has never been shown to be a good guy in any way, shape, or form, but he is a ruthless soldier for the Marines. He's a dog for the Marines. He is tough as nails, probably the fastest character in the series. We'll have to wait and see when he goes toe-to-toe with the Straw Hats. He's gonna show up at Egghead Island. I predicted it a few chapters back. I said, well, if Vegapunk's here, then there's got to be a connection with Sentomaru and Kizaru. I definitely said something about Kizaru coming in and being the main antagonist of the Egghead Island arc, which would be epic. If we just have these little arcs where different Marines that we've fought in the past, like Kizaru, maybe Kuzan, but I know he's going to be involved in the Blackbeard situation, Fujitora, Green Bull, we take them out one arc at a time, here for it. Or maybe Kizaru is also a buddy of Vegapunk. Maybe Kizaru is like secretly Vegapunk's like son or some shit. Who knows? I don't. But I would love it if there was some kind of crazy twist involving Kizaru. And honestly, if there isn't, if Kizaru is just a straight up ruthless Marine, just ready to come in and actually take charge here. I'm not sure if he's on his way to save Vegapunk when he found out Vegapunk's being, you know, axed, or he's coming in when he found out there's a Yonko here, and he's gonna try his best. I don't think Luffy needs another battle. Honestly, if he's going to take out Lucci for a second time, show off his new abilities like he did in this chapter, I would like to see someone like Zoro or Sanji go head to head with Kizaru. Maybe Kizaru will show up and the crew will bounce. They'll be like, okay, Kizaru's here with a shit ton of Marines, like a buster call army of Marines, and they're buster calling Egghead Island at this point. Maybe that's when the crew's like, whoa there, let's get out of here. Since the fight has already been brought to Luffy, the incident has occurred. Lucci is not listening to Kaku's warning. Lucci is just going toe to toe with Luffy, and I'm loving it. They clash fists at one point with their armament hockey. It didn't seem like Luffy was using his advanced Conqueror's hockey, but I couldn't really tell in the black and white manga. Maybe we'll find out later in the anime. This battle will be great in the anime if they give it time to tell, if they give us a little bit more than what this chapter gave us. I'm very excited to see Lucci's transformation in the anime. They were jumping real fast throughout this entire chapter, just giving us blips of the fight, while the rest of the crew are sitting back on the sidelines going, whoa, Luffy's Gear 5 looks cool. I know he was telling us about it on the ship. Some of us might have got a glimpse of it when he was fighting Kaido, but we really don't know much about it. And then, you know, they still think it's the Gum Gum Fruit's awakened form. No siree, Bob. And maybe when Luffy finds out it's also not the Gum Gum Fruit, maybe because it's like this imagination fruit now, it's the Nika fruit. Maybe it's a zone, right? Maybe instead of only being able to turn surfaces and whatnot into rubber and being able to manipulate things and whatnot in a cartoon-like fashion, he'll have more abilities that he'll be able to unlock, knowing that it's a different type of fruit. Maybe he can have somewhat of another transformation on top of that, like zone fruit users do. He can go all crazy like Chopper. I don't know. He can do some shiz. Right now, Luffy's only thinking Gum Gum abilities, stretchies, rubber bands, and whatnot. Rubber Man, that's what Luffy's thinking. But if he gets the info that he's secretly got a god ability like Vegapunk, the real Vegapunk, the old man Vegapunk goes up to the tippity top of Egghead and goes and talks to Shaka and watches Luffy in action, and he's like amazed by seeing the Nika in person, at least on the screen. She's like, wow, this is crazy, they're so fast. He even drops some lore on the devil fruits, which I wasn't a big fan of because it wasn't that great of a lore dump. He was just saying, hey, the Nika fruit, all the devil fruits, they come from the wants, the wishes of the world, the people who wish that they could have these magical abilities, and it's a next evolution. It's kind of like a, I wish, and like all the people of the One Piece world wished and wished and wished, and eventually these fruits came, and now they're these magical fruits which we don't know much about. So they're pretty much, you know, waving away what they are. I was kind of hoping for a more in-depth explanation. Hopefully down the line we'll learn more about the devil fruits other than just they are magical devil fruits. Nothing else. Because it's kind of out of Vegapunk's, you know, line of work to deal with magic, and he's a scientific fella. let's see. So Luffy does pretty much outlast Lucci's endurance. You know, they're fighting it out, but I think Lucci realizes real quick that Luffy is not getting tired at all. Lucci's like, shit, Lucci got hit in the gut by Gum Gum Mole, a new technique Luffy came up with. So many cool things he can do with this ability. I can't wait to see it animated. Lucci's sitting there going, shit, I've started a national incident. He doesn't really care about that. But he's, you know, going, what do I do? I can't beat Luffy like this. Sentomaru's down there commanding an army of sorts of 4 Sephirim. He's got Mihawks, Boa Hancocks, Jinbeis, and Kuma's pacifistas, or Sephirims, under his control. We get to find out exactly how the control works for these things. Sentomaru's like 3rd on the ranking list. Below them would be CP0, so they have no commands over them. You would think that anyway, whatever happens, you would think that Vegapunk could take over no matter what. But it does look like the 5 elders are in the #1 controllers of the Sephirim, so that'll be interesting to see. Might want to get rid of them, because they seem dangerous. They seem very strong. I think every one of them is probably as strong as Jinbei individually. And they all have a Devil Fruit ability. Some the same as their, you know, clone originals, and some different. We'll have to wait and find out exactly what Mihawk's is. If Boa Hancock does have, well, the Sephirim snake, S-Snake, does have the Mellow Nomi, the stone fruit fucking Medusa technique. We won't know. We still don't know that. We do know that Jinbei has the Swim fruit. We do know that Kuma, or S-Bear, has the Paw fruit. So it might have been a strategic decision on what devil fruits they got, or it might have been bloodline and what shit and what not. So, from there, we get to see Luffy interact with Sentomaru for the first time in a long time. Really, when they were fighting back at Sabaody, they were just fighting while Luffy was watching his crew get teleported around the world, thinking they were being killed by Kuma at the time with the Paw fruit. So Luffy didn't get a lot of time to talk about Sentomaru's backstory or any whatnot. But here and now, Luffy goes, hey, you're the big axe guy. And he's like, please don't address me by my weapon. And so I'm here, Luffy, and I brought these Sephirim to help us out. You go, because you said you're going to take Grandpa Vegapunk off the island. He's like, yeah, that's what he wants. He wants to come with me. And so our boy Sentomaru's like, cool, that's fine. He goes rogue on the Marines, and he even tells Vegapunk, you want me to turn against the Marines, basically becoming a pirate as well? I mean, really, Sentomaru's staying back to hold him back, it seems like, unless he's there just to help him out, but it seems like he was trying to tell Luffy, get going, buddy boy. But Lucci has different plans. Lucci looks at the situation like a master strategist, a master assassin. He looks over at Kaku and, not Cauliflower, fucking Stussy. He should have brought Cauliflower and Bluno. They would be very helpful in this situation. I want to know more. I want to know where the hell the rest of CP9 is. They would be so much fun in this battle, this war that's going down right now. It does seem like Lucci is outnumbered, especially since the Sephirim aren't working for him. So Lucci looks over at Sentomaru and goes, he's turned coat on us. Boom comes in with the 5-hand or the 5-finger pistols to the gut. Looks like he went straight through Sentomaru's gut. And you know Sentomaru's got some major armament hockey ability, but I'm sure he was taken off, he was just like, whoa, that was fast. Because he doesn't have an awakened devil fruit ability. He probably is nowhere near as fast as Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci comes in like a bolt of lightning and just essentially kills Sentomaru. This is One Piece. I'm saying Sentomaru's going to survive that. We'll have to wait and see. I do think Luffy's going to lose it a little bit after seeing that. Luffy's going to go, okay. It's going to be interesting to see if if Nika can ever like get angry, or is he always smiling even when friends are being murdered in front of his eyes. Now Luffy's gonna go full on Conqueror's hockey on Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci's gonna have to hope that taking down Sentomaru really will give Kaku or Stussy some kind of command over the Sephirim. That's the only way. If Rob Lucci and all 4 of those Sephirim fight Luffy, I don't think Luffy can handle them by himself. That's when Zoro needs to pop in. That's when Sanji needs to come in. Then they all battle it out and take out these Sephirims one at a time. Then you have Kaku and maybe Zoro have their rematch. And Luffy, you know, of course, Luffy and Zoro, the crew will get the win. But then you have Kizaru coming in to pick the bones. Kizaru could be here as early as the next chapter, which I do believe we're on a break next week, sadly enough. But this chapter was so good, and I am so happy that Rob Lucci wasn't just one shot like everybody predicted. I am so happy. You know, we did get a little bit of information about the Devil Fruits, but it really wasn't that exciting. We'll have to wait for the official release, the official translation, to see if anything more comes from that. I don't really care too much on where the Devil Fruits are from, unless it has a connection to the One Piece, which it might. There's so many moving parts, and I say this every week, and I want to see more. And when the chapter ends, I'm just going, why? Why can't you just give us 2 chapters? Why can't a chapter be 45 pages or 100 pages or some shit? Because 17 pages at most is not enough, Oda. I can't do this. You're playing with my heart. And it's time to just give me what the rest of Egghead Island is. I'm going to see one of my favorite characters, Kizaru, show up. And maybe we'll finally get a Kizaru or a Marine-style backstory. I really would like to see a cool little backstory of Kizaru and Kuzan and Aokiji, or Akainu work, you know, training to be Marines. That would be a fun little flashback. I'd love to read a couple chapters about that. Honestly, Oda could probably spend a couple months, weeks, doing a big-ass flashback about where Kizaru came from. If he becomes a more, you know, twist-like character that isn't just a straightforward villain. But I am so down. I'm so down for Kizaru to just show up next chapter. Take command. Look at Lucci. Go, Lucci, you did well. You didn't do great, actually, but you started some shit, but I'm here to finish it. I got an army ready to buster call this place, but I know it's not. I need to fight Luffy or something. Then Luffy and Kizaru go toe-to-toe. I know I said I didn't want to see that, but this is a good idea. Think about it. Then you have Lucci, who's like, shit, well, Kizaru can handle Luffy. I'll go after the swordsman. And then you get to see Kizaru and Luffy go at it in a battle I would like to see, to be honest. And Luffy's probably the only one that could really go toe-to-toe with Kizaru. Him and maybe Zoro. That's it. Then you have Zoro and Lucci fight in a really close battle, because I feel like they're probably around the same level right now. Then you have Kaku use his swords and go all giraffe on Sanji. Love to see that. You have Jinbei fight Sephirim Jinbei. You have Mihawk. I guess little Mihawk could fight a couple of the, you know, the weaker Straw Hats. Maybe have Brook come in and have a sword fight with him with some assistance from Chop Chop or Jinbei. Well, no, Jinbei's going to be busy fighting his Sephirim. I feel like each Sephirim's going to need a tough opponent. So those Sephirim are going to really turn the tide here. You also have the Vegapunks raring to go. Maybe they'll combine like some kind of crazy mech cyborg person. We really don't know. This is more fanime. What did you think of Rob Lucci going toe-to-toe with Gear 5 Luffy? I'm here for it. It's been 2 years. No problem with the power scaling on this side. Maybe if it was someone like Caribou that came in and got some crazy boost. It's like, we just saw you were nowhere near as strong as Luffy. Get out of here. And Caribou doesn't have the potential that Rob Lucci has. Even if Arlong showed up after all this time and showed us that he had developed some kind of transformation or armament hockey, Conqueror's hockey shit, I'd be here for it. 2 years is a long time to change your power level, and we have yet to see. I just really wish the rest of CP9 was here, because I hope Oda isn't just going to write off them and only use them to appear in Film Red or some shit. And Kaku, and obviously Kaku and Lucci are the most popular members of CP9, but I've learned to respect Spandam as a major villain of the series, of one of my favorite arcs in the entire series of Enies Lobby. And I think that Spandam needs another shot at the Straw Hats. Maybe he gets his ass handed to him by Nico Robin. That would be fun. I would love to see Nico Robin go toe-to-toe with Funkfried and Spandam once again, or even Frankie. That would be even more fun. Seeing Frankie whip his absolute shit in, maybe that would be great, to see Spandam in control of the Sephirum, and like a Pokemon master, because he's nowhere near able to compete on his own. And then eventually, he keeps getting defended by the Sephirum, but eventually gets his ass handed to him by our boy Frankie. That's the kind of shit I want to see. This is More Fanime. Don't forget to comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you later.
And with me I go wings. You gon' step in my ship. You gon' mess with the king.